This is chapter 1, and it's going to be titled When Dinosaurs Roamed the Earth. And this goes into the idea that we have histories as individuals, and from where we once were at an energetic point, we may have done things or reflected ourselves in ways that we don't feel alive within us now. And so much is lost when you consider the past and you don't take somebody's word in the now. Jesus said, "Ask and ye shall receive. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you." And so here we are, 7 billion people in the world, each with our own understanding of things, but yet a collective need for the same basic sense of purpose and fulfillment. And when we are fulfilled, we are able to function off of our highest thoughts. And when we are not, we are in a process of deprivation. This experience, the dark nights of the soul that happen to us, we can talk about to other people, but they can't experience what we're experiencing. And so there is a part of us that is always a boulevard of broken dreams where Billy Joe Armstrong feels he walks alone. And so when we do have points of resonance with each other, we are able to express only a sense of rhetoric, but not a sense of what our life experience actually is. So we don't know where each person comes from in our experience and why they are there. But what we do know is that we all want to be uplifting and start to bring about the ascension of ourself through seeing our own ascension in others. And therefore, when we see people, we want to the best of our ability, open those doors that they knock on and give insight to what they're seeking. And from here, we begin to have to look critically at ourselves and see where we are in alignment with a grand integrity. The Christmas story is Jesus knocked 3 times, and he came in the form of strangers. And each time the receiver answered those knocks and got 3 visits from Jesus. And each of those visits that we have as points of meeting in life really are added onto us. And so we have to find our own heart in all of this, even if we are dinosaurs and we know some T-Rexes and Stegosauruses who are going to hold us fast to old news. Where we begin to pick up is we actually listen to people in the moment. The first threshold that I had to cross in this conversation is actually listening to what a person says in the moment and not living off of preemption and guiding the energy from where I started the day at and what I'm looking for. Now, Mark Cuban, who is on the Shark Tank, was asked one time, "Do you write business plans?" And he said, I used to write business plans, but I've always found that the customer I have isn't the one that I necessarily thought I was setting out to get. And this is characteristic to how energy begins to flow. You come up with an idea, but you don't have the vibrational pattern yet. And I want to give one story that I think fits here in Would You Tell Jesus No? I found 3 cats on the road, and I I brought them in, and I took them to the Humane Society. And one of my friends went in, and I stayed out because I brought the dog along, so I stayed out with the dog. And he brought the cats in to the Humane Society, and he came right back out with the cats and said they wouldn't take the cats here because they were found across a county line. And I walked in and I said, well, who were you expecting to find? Was it your target customer, somebody who goes out and finds a cat or a lonely animal and brings them in and brings them to a location? She wanted me to go to a place 35 miles away. And I told her, I'm going to cry if you don't take these cats. I told her that didn't necessarily work at that point. I told her, not that I don't believe you, but can you bring up the map to show me that where I found them is across the county line? And energy got started on this. Law of attraction started to take it, and she found other people in the pet place with a different set of emotional values. And long story short, they took the cats in that day, which they were supposed to take the cats in. I was the lonely one in the wilderness who was doing exactly what that place was put there for. Now, we tangle things in red tape, and there are a lot of dinosaurs within us that we see as points of meeting with other people. For example, to anyone, any steward of information and responsibility, perhaps you work at an office, perhaps you fulfill one point of meeting or one point of understanding where you are then in charge of directing people. And let's say you have half a shift and another person has another half a shift. And so there's 2 people with the same job. Now I'm assuming for a second, because we all have it within us, that you are the person with a more dinosaur-ish closed mind, and you know what you know, but you're not willing to expand to the possibility that maybe there is more understanding out there. And you probably run a very efficient ship. You have a very efficient resume and a very efficient track record, and you're respected as someone who gets things done to people in a higher position of which you are subservient to. But here's the story that you don't know. To you, person 1, when person 2 shows up, person 2 can cut the red tape, and you never would know about it. If I never met person 1, person 2, with a more open emotion, a more response to Jesus at a point of meeting. Now, Jesus could be a boy or a girl. He could be red, brown, yellow, black, or white. But he's coming to you for Christmas dinner. And of course, this is a metaphor. but he's there because God and the source within him has led him to where you are. And so person number 2 is making all of the connections that need to be made. For example, there at the Humane Society, person 1 said these are the rules on the book, and the person number 2 was aware these are the rules of the universe. And when you deal with dinosaurs, it begins to get your own frustration and anger out. Dinosaurs reflect dinosaurs. Now, we all have a past, and some people have experience in a history that they are proud of. But they preempt so often that they filter and screen some of the people who were put under their care to be stewards of, and they told them hit the bricks. And so this is the conversation where we tell person number 1, all of your rules and red tape lives in your imagination. It doesn't matter what the laws on the books are. You've read the laws on the books and you made the choices and the decisions that you did in the moment. So how does this look then? This is the song, Here's to You, Mrs. Robinson. Jesus loves you more than you will know, from Simon and Garfunkel. Because the opportunities are always there to begin to expand. Your partner or your counterpart figured it out, and they're screening people through, and if they don't have the information that the person needs, they go out of their way to get them that service that they are looking for. You have to realize that you are part of that algorithm, and sometimes even I forget that each person is someone who is just as equal as I am and wants what they want as equally as I want what I want. And so therefore, you really do have to have the threshold to begin to shift and open your mind in the moment. Because those are the people who can do that, are the people who are really fulfilling their rules, and they're making friends along the way, while those who stick to dinosaur resonances, when dinosaurs once ruled the world, you were a little bit different. And we want to reflect a new biography within ourselves each and every day. And so we don't want to be reminded of things that bring us to a place that we don't have access to our highest ideas and highest ideals. So it should be the job of each and every person to, when Jesus knocks, answer that door.